This is a brand new pointe shoe. It looks perfect, like a little work of art. And in a way, it is. It's handcrafted from layers of satin, fabric, and glue. It's pristine, beautiful, and often costs over $100. For a professional ballerina, this shoe is one of the most critical tools of her trade. A principal dancer can burn through more than 100 pairs in a single season, costing a ballet company tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what's the very first thing a dancer does with this expensive, perfect-looking shoe? She systematically destroys it. We're going to bend it, crush it, cut it, and beat it into submission. But this isn't vandalism. It's a secret essential ritual that turns an undanceable object into a high-performance tool. So why do ballerinas have to meticulously tear apart a brand new shoe before they can even think about wearing it? The answer is a fascinating mix of engineering, anatomy, and pure artistic necessity. Welcome to the Ballet Science Podcast, where we bring science into the studio to help dancers of all ages and abilities give their best performance both on stage and off, and reveal how the science of ballet is beneficial for everyone who moves. I'm Caroline Simpkins. I'm a former professional ballerina with a PhD in biomechanics, and today we're talking about why ballet dancers destroy their pointe shoes. To understand why all this destruction is necessary, you have to understand what a new pointe shoe actually is. Straight out of the box, it's a generic rock-hard cage for the foot. The shoes aren't even made for a left and right foot yet. They're incredibly stiff by design, built to be strong enough to support a dancer's entire body weight on the very tips of her toes. But that strength is also its biggest flaw. Imagine trying to run a marathon in concrete boots. That's pretty much what dancing in a new pointe shoe feels like. The box, that's the hard part up front for the toes, is so firm it can feel like dancing on wood blocks, which keeps the dancer from properly feeling the floor. The shank, which is the stiff spine running down the sole, is like a tiny plank of wood. It's so unyielding that a dancer can't roll through their foot or show off their arch, a movement that is absolutely fundamental to ballet. Not only is it uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Fighting against that stiffness can lead to bad alignment and a much higher risk of injury in a profession where injuries are extremely common. And then there's the noise. A brand new pointe shoe is loud. Every step, every landing on stage would come with a clunky, thudding sound, totally shattering the illusion of weightless grace and echoing throughout the theater. So the problem is clear. This beautiful, expensive object is, in its pristine state, painful, dangerous, loud, and basically undanceable. So the only solution is to break it. Now, this destruction isn't a chaotic mess. It's a precise, multi-step process of customization that every dancer figures out and refines over years. Every foot is different, so every single shoe has to be personally tailored. Let's break down how that transformation happens. First up, and perhaps the most important part, is the shank. This is the shoe's backbone, and it has to bend in the exact same place as the dancer's own arch. To make that happen, a dancer will bend the shoe by hand, over a ballet bar, or even by wedging the heel in a doorway and gently closing it. They're listening for a satisfying crack as the layers of glue and cardboard give way. The goal is to create a hinge that lets the foot make that beautiful curved line when on point, but without snapping the shank and losing all of the support. Many pros take this one step further with a technique called three-quarter shanking. They'll pull back the inner lining and literally cut out the shank about 3/4 of the way down, getting rid of the part under the heel. This gives the arch maximum flexibility, but it's a move that requires incredible strength, and if you are still a student, your teacher's permission. Next is the box, the part that holds the toes. When it's new, it's hard and unforgiving. The main goal here is to soften it just enough so that it molds to the dancer's foot, and just importantly, to make it quiet. This is where the most destructive looking methods come in. A dancer might step on the box with their full weight, crushing it. They might bang it against a concrete wall, listening carefully as the loud thuds get softer and more muffled. This bashing isn't just for fit, it's for sound dampening, a crucial step for performing on stage. It's a delicate balance. The box has to get softer without losing the structure needed to hold up the dancer's body. Then we move to the outside of the shoe. That beautiful shiny satin may look elegant on stage, but it's actually incredibly slippery. So dancers have to modify the shoe to create more grip and friction with the floor. One of the most common tricks is to take a craft knife or even something like a cheese grater and rough up the leather sole on the bottom of the shoe. By scoring the surface, they create more traction and can reduce slipping. Some dancers also remove the satin from the very tip of the shoe, called the platform. Underneath that satin is a material that's often a little bit less slippery. And then comes one of ballet's most iconic traditions, rosin. Dancers dip the platform into a box of rosin, which is basically a sticky powder made from tree sap. It helps the shoe grip the floor in much the same way rosin helps a violin bow grip the strings. To add even more stability and help the shoe last longer, many dancers also darn the platform. That means stitching thick thread around the edge of the box. It gives the platform extra texture for grip, but it also creates a slightly wider, flatter surface to balance on. And when you're balancing your entire body weight on the tiny tip of one shoe, even a small increase in stability can make a big difference in control. After all of this breaking, bending, and cutting, some parts of the shoe are now too soft. The life of a pointe shoe is a constant tug of war between flexibility and support. This is where glues like shellac or a super strong adhesive known in the dance world as jet glue come in. A dancer will carefully apply a thin layer of glue inside the tip of the box or along a shank that's getting weak. This hardens the materials, reinforcing the shoe's most important structures and squeezing a few more hours of life out of it. When you're a pro going through a pair per performance, that's a vital step. And then there's the final aesthetic transformation. Brand new shoes are often very shiny and bright pink straight out of the box, which can stand out harshly under stage lights. So dancers will sometimes pancake or calamine their shoes, basically dulling the satin with makeup, foundation, calamine lotion, or specialty dyes. The goal is usually to make the shoe blend seamlessly with the dancer's tights or skin tone, so the leg line looks uninterrupted and almost endless on stage. But it can also depend on the role. In some ballets, dancers may want the shoes to disappear visually into the costume, while in others, they may intentionally leave more shine or brightness for a more classical, pristine look. It's another reminder that pointe shoes aren't just equipment, they're part of the artistry and storytelling too. Finally, the shoe has to actually stay on the foot. Pointe shoes don't come with ribbons or elastics attached. A dancer has to sew them on themselves. This is another layer of deep personalization. The exact placement and tension can completely change how the shoe feels and supports the ankle. And for this task, many dancers have a secret weapon, dental floss. It's cheap, incredibly strong, and has just a tiny bit of give, making it perfect for sewing on ribbons that are always under strain. They will meticulously stitch on the ribbons and elastics, often in a crisscross pattern, creating a secure link between their foot and the shoe. After this whole process, which can take hours, the shoe is completely transformed. If you put them side by side, the destroyed shoe looks worn and beaten up next to its brand new twin. But it's anything but broken. It has been transformed from a generic product into a perfectly customized, high-performance tool. It's not just a shoe anymore. It's an extension of the dancer's body. When she puts it on, it molds to every curve of her foot. The shank bends with her arch, the box supports her toes without crushing them, and the sole grips the floor with quiet confidence. The art of breaking in a pointe shoe is a fundamental skill, a rite of passage, and a hidden craft passed down from teacher to student and from dancer to dancer. What looks like total chaos is actually a meticulous process of personalization. It's the unseen labor that makes the effortless magic of ballet possible. It's the story of how a ballerina takes something painfully generic and through knowledge and skill makes it uniquely her own. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the Ballet Science Podcast.